Been a while since I've talked to you guys about my life. I had meant to make a post about the really hilarious time that I went clubbing, and then I didn't. Shocker. And now, lo and behold, I am revealing to you my horrible experience with clubbing. And why I'm spending the rest of my life in my room. You know, I'm a band kid. I spend most of my Friday nights on Tumblr, doing my Latin homework, procrastinating my Latin homework, reading comic books, drawing comic books. So I figure, what the hey, I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna go clubbing. And I forgot that I hate it when other human beings touch me. So clubbing really is not a good idea. My friend and I are in there, and we're like every 2 seconds getting,
Booty, I need the booty. I like the booty. Oh.
Some strange, creepy dude that we've never even seen before. Which, okay, it's my fault. I went clubbing. I know, I shouldn't have done that. Why am I surprised that all these guys are all... But seriously, bro, like, you're 50, you're in this club where it's full of teenagers. Why do you think that me, an 18-year-old girl, is going to suddenly get the hots for you when... Yeah. So anyway, my friend and I are like, this is not gonna work. This is a bad idea. Let's leave this club. The only problem is that the person who's driving us home still wants to stay in the club, so he stays, and my friend and I leave, which is a really bad idea in retrospect, considering the fact that it was Denver at 2 in the morning, and that's not safe. That's not safe in any way, shape, or form. So we're trying to find a Starbucks because Starbucks are supposed to be 24 hours. And we're thinking, okay, we're gonna, just sit in the Starbucks until a friend comes out. Starbucks apparently isn't 24 hours. I learned that the hard way. So if you're ever in Denver at 2 in the morning because your friend won't leave a club and you're waiting for a ride home, you should go to Subway. So then we go to Subway, and the guy is really nice, and he tells us that we should probably find a bus back to Boulder because we have no clue whether or not our friend is actually going to drive us home. So my friend and I are sitting there, and we're like, oh shit, how do we use a bus? Now I know this sounds really stupid. How do I use a bus? But I have a car. I've never really lived in a city before. I've lived in a small town like my whole life. And so I've never used a bus. I know that sounds really stupid, but I couldn't figure out how to read a bus schedule. Anyway, we find the bus schedule, and we're trying to figure out how to read it, and slowly but surely the hobos start emerging and, like, surrounding us, and we're like, holy shit, we're gonna die. It's a long story, but basically I'm a really paranoid person, and I kind of saw my whole life flash before my eyes. I started thinking, I really don't want to die in Denver in the middle of the night being murdered by a bunch of drunk hobos. Anyway, finally, my friend leaves the club, picks us up, and we're driving back to Boulder. And, I just started bawling, like, out of nowhere. And it was really stupid because it wasn't really that big of a deal. I made it into much worse of a deal than it was. We got into the car. Couldn't talk for a while. Kind of couldn't use my voice. And then it hit me. How incredibly complicated DNA transcription is. Do you know how beautiful it is that we humans have reached this point in our lives? Look, I'm pointing to my hand for a specific reason. Opposable thumb, pretty darn cool invention. All of these complicated coincidences that led us evolutionary to this point in our life where we're this beautiful primates who can do these things and write long stories about their lives, and who can play the guitar, very poorly I might add, but play the guitar nonetheless, and learn Latin, and do all these things, and all the tiny miracles that go on every single second inside of your body, cells being replicated, DNA being transcribed and translated. But the point is, we're so beautiful and complicated, and we reduce ourselves to these things of fear, where we can't even walk around at night by ourselves, where where we go into a place where there's supposed to be dancing and we feel sexually threatened. It seems kind of pointless and counterintuitive in our evolutionary path that we've come so far and we're left with things like You a Stupid Hoe by Nicki Minaj. Have I mentioned You a Stupid Hoe before in a video blog? Because I feel like I talk about that a lot. Seriously, next time you feel down or afraid, look at yourself and remember how beautifully complicated you are and how many coincidences had to happen for you to be you. With that being said, I am never spending a single Friday night doing anything other than being in marching band practice or on Tumblr. Maybe I shouldn't be advocating living your life inside your room. Carpe diem, but carpe diem safely. And carpe diem, knowing how to use a bus schedule.